Thank you, Ray. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be doing it this long. I'm thinking, how long could people put up with me for every day?
Yeah, but you fuel the flames that are within them. God bless you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Donald.
Morning, Donald.
It is cold out here in Fort Worth, right?
Look at
Just
that
saying
smile, huh? Look at that smile.
All righty, we're going to jump right in. Hey, good morning, Misfits. My name is Sean Murphy, along with the amazing group of Misfit souls who have been following us since December 18th, 2018 is when we started this episode. And we've now done 370 of them since. And in these conversations, we called the Daily Awakening. We started it off called Get Out of Your Effing Way, but too many people, I believe, wouldn't jump in. And, you know, it's downloading to me right now. They were using it as an excuse to not figure out what the F stood for. Because for me, it was fear, frustration, fatigued, fascinating. Just get out of your way. And whose way are we getting out of? The way of the past, right? How hard is it to get out of the way of the past? It's crazy. So for the first year, that's what we called it. Get out of your effing way. And we had we had over 1,000 people sign up to get an invitation to it, 1,049 people, I think. And so far this year, the beginning of this year, December-ish, I was having some conversation with my board and they said, we don't really mind it. I said, I know, but I want to see if we can't reach more. I don't know if it'll make a difference. And so we called it the Daily Awakening. And so sometime around December, we changed it. I changed the name over with board approval and we got that fixed. And so far, since the beginning of 2020, we've had over 2,150 people put their name in for it. Now, I know a lot of them are duplicates, but there's a whole bunch of new people. So call it what you want, timing, change. It is about the vibration. It is about the first year, it was me getting out of my own effing way. And then once I realized there's value, right? I had to build my own story, build my own belief that there's value. There's conversation there. There's ability to come up with a topic every single day. What do you come up with every single day? Sometimes it's easy for people to do every single day because it's the same day over and over and over. It's Groundhog Day. What if we were to adapt that, change that, awaken that every day? And so that's what we do here on these morning calls. So I want to welcome everybody here. Great to have you all here. It's 6:32 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's somewhere in the very low 30s here in the Dallas area. We're getting a little taste of winter just when we think is it coming? Is it going? Is it here? Is it gone? So good to have everybody here this morning. Welcome. If you're new to the call, drop an N in the chat. That'd be great to see that. If you drop an N in the chat, we'd love to send you some love, some gratitude. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and send out your 3 messages. What 3 messages can you say? What 3 people can you pick this morning to receive a little gift of you, a little joy of you? And here's the thing. When you pick them the way the universe wants you to pick them, the way the Holy Spirit wants you to pick them, when you go, I'm going to send them something, you'll be surprised that they'll say, you know what? Absolutely what I needed at the right time. Good morning, B. Great to have you here. I see an N there. I haven't seen that short of a name, a title before here. So B, great to have you here. Yeah, so send out, what we do is we send out 3 messages of gratitude, of joy, of love, of thanks, of just, hey, was thinking of you, something funny that you do. And the reason that we send those out is 2 things. One, we want our day to be better. Part of giving is making sure you give what you want to receive back. See, whenever you give away something, it gives space for it, right? If I give you $5, I now have a $5 hole in my world that the universe can fill. And usually it says when you give with the best of intentions, it usually comes back tenfold, right? We've read that in some good books somewhere. And when you give joy and gratitude away, joy and gratitude comes back 10 times over as well. So that's why we ask you to do that. Well, good morning, everybody. Good to have you all here. I'm just looking to see who's here. I want to take a quick peek. Look at all these amazing souls. Look at all these powerful women. And there's Superman Ralph. Great to have you here. Tiasm. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Great to have you all here. And there's Brittany, and there's RBP. There's Belux Code. Great to have you all here. And there's Shammy joining us. Great to have you all here. So, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? If you look, I find it comical when you watch the numbers of how people show up to this. It's you go back to yesterday and the tremendous things that happened, and the once in a lifetime moments that happened when Brianna's grandfather Clarence started sharing with us some wisdom, and how her grandmother was just hooting and hollering from the back seat. Those are once in a lifetime moments. Here's the thing that I do know. This moment is a once in a lifetime moment. If you were to ask yourself, and we're not going to have a discussion on this, I'd ask you to have it with yourself. If you were to ask yourself, why are there so many people on this call at certain times, and why are there not? Why are there so many people who join your business at certain times, and why are there not? Why are there so many people at church at certain times, and why are there not? Jim Rohn would say, don't sign up for that class. I get that. But be aware that there's a swing, there's a cycle in all of this. There's a cycle that moves through everything all the time. It's just the way it is. The wind works that way. The earth spins that way. The sun rotates that way. All of these things change. You still have to do what? Show up. And when you show up, that's all that matters. When you show up to do what you're here to do, what you're designed to do, what you've been praying to do, show up. So, yesterday was a good conversation. Because y'all are here, they all turn into some pretty amazing conversations all the time. So I'm going to read some notes here. Anybody have any ahas? What we do is, for those of you that might be new, if you'd like to make a comment, ask a question, this is kind of an open dialogue sometimes, Q&A. Raise your hand, and I'll usually see your hand over here in the chat section, and give you a shout out, and we'll have a conversation about some stuff. So appreciate you. Good morning, Brittany. I see you.
Okay, hi. Yeah. Hey. So I can go about this like a couple ways. I can give like an infomercial testimonial, like, oh my God, since I've been on Sean Murphy's calls, day 3, I am like a whole new person. And because that's literally how I feel. Like ever since Sunday, I allowed myself to receive, and boy, did the universe look out. It's great. I also have a question on behalf of one of my friends. I was having a conversation with her last night, and basically in a lot of her relationships, romantic relationships, I'm not too sure about the one that she has with her parents, I call it, she likes to walk herself to the edge of the cliff. And by that, I mean, she said that she will endure all of these painful things knowingly until she finds a comfortable outlet or something else to utilize to leverage how she already feels. And I don't know if it's fair for me to speak on her behalf, but she literally doesn't wake up until like 2 p.m. So I told her that I would ask on the call today for her and send her the replay. because I don't have the answers nor the ability to guide her, but I know someone that does. So if you could help, which I know that you can, that would be awesome.
Well, and for her, when she hears the replay, if she chooses to listen to it, this is the exact example of what happens in her life. This is the answer is always there. She chooses not to show up at it, and she chooses to go run to the edge of the cliff, where the distraction becomes the attraction.
Wow.
The distraction of the stress. Now, I feel my heart hurts for her because she's better than that. She's more capable than she thinks she is. And when we let the distraction become the attraction, it keeps us from finding the answer. If it was really that bad, and it probably is, but if it was really that bad, if she hadn't become comfortable with it, if you weren't able to recognize the pattern, that would be a one-off thing. But you're able to recognize the pattern. So now that becomes the attraction, the distraction. And the fact that she's asking you for help is a cry out for help. But like any addict, whether it be alcohol, drugs, pornography, any addict, anything, any addiction to approval, we can only help them when they're ready. So I do hope she listens to it. And I do hope we get to have a conversation together. And I feel absolutely terrible about the pain that I'm feeling in my body because of her story. And part of the challenge is she knows she doesn't have to deal with it. There's a bigger story behind all of this. There's a bigger story behind all of us. And that the distraction that we're letting attract us is avoiding telling our story. So hopefully
Thank you.
Can I offer a couple of other facets to that kaleidoscope?
Sure. Absolutely.
So if I'm hearing what you said, Sean, correctly, she may be using that as a distraction from something else.
Yes.
On the other hand, it could be that she's looking to those contests to learn something about herself, to make a change for the better, to solve an old problem that she's had for a long period of time, that those relationships make for the perfect scenario in which she can learn, she can struggle with that old problem. To me, it's the John Wellwood with one L model, where we will discover exactly the right person in a relationship or across a crowded room with whom we can do battle to solve an old problem. We're attracted to the situation where we can solve that problem. So if she can look at her boyfriend, her parents, whoever she's doing this crazy run to the edge behavior as a worthy opponent, as someone to do battle with in such a way that she can learn a solution to something that's been bothering her for a long, long time, then it becomes not just a distraction, but a tool to develop herself even further.
Awesome. And I think I saw RBP lean in.
I think it's interesting, Brittany, that she asked you for help. I think the personality she looks for is some strength. And it might be one of those moments where you have to kind of swift kick your friend in the butt and tell her to wake up and come on and to face the day before 2 p.m. and quit hiding. I mean, those are the kind of moments where your personality of living in a world full of sometimes gets, tested. So I think it's interesting that she asked you to do this for her and that you did it. So hats off to you for extending some mercy and not stepping into that really strong personality that you and I both have and own. But I'm with Sean, does she really want help right now? And I don't know that she does.
And that's what I told her. I was like, when you're ready to let go, and I gave the analogy of joy and misery, and I talked about what Sean said the other day, as far as like, happiness belongs to me, so why do we exchange it for sadness? And we know, as people, we know like what's going on. We just make these decisions. And I'm very blunt. So I told her, I was like, you continue to put yourself in this situation. You want to. Like, you want to be in charge. You want to feel like you've kind of made somebody do something, or you persuaded them to, or you love them enough to do this and do that and do this and do that. But you're setting all of these expectations, and when they don't meet them, you're breaking your own heart. And I could super relate, which is why I offered. She didn't ask, I offered, because I was like, hey, you need some good guidance. But I'm very glad to hear that I was able to extend mercy. I'm so happy about that, because
then that's the question. Was this story about her, or was it really to help you see more of you?
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say, Sean, because one of the best ways you can help somebody that is acting like that is to keep developing you.
Yeah. So
and
next time I'm able to guide.
Yeah. And as she sees you and everything that comes to you and every way your life changes, it might give her the motivation to change. But
now, go ahead, Rhonda.
Yeah, but as far as mercy and grace, I think it's beautiful that a strong personality like yours was able to do that and extend that to her. So that, to me, like Sean says, shows a lot of growth in you. And there's something developing in you that maybe it hasn't been there in a while. That's the whole point of when I talk to anybody, or any of y'all call me, I know what Sean means when he says this to me, because y'all do it to me. Y'all, I become your student. Y'all are great teachers to me. And you need to thank her for being a great teacher to you, because she taught you today that strong woman that you are is capable of extending grace and mercy. And that's beautiful. I'm proud of you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
And Brittany, you can't tell her the answer. You can only point her in the direction.
Absolutely. I'm just going to send her this link with no other context, and she'll know what it is.
Yep. Say some pretty good solutions and dialogues. And you can thank her. So this just downloaded to me. There's a lot of her life that she feels the world is ungrateful for. Thank her for letting you say, hey, listen, your question this morning, I don't know what it'll do for you, but it did amazing things for me. And the conversation we had this morning. So thanks for letting me sharpen my saw a little bit more. Here's the link if you're ever interested in listening to it.
Awesome.
I love it. Funny how here, and this is where you asked a question, but here's the reality of it. This is all just flowing into me now. The reality of it is you use the same words as a statement, as a question, as a command, as a decision, as an unknowing. We use the same words. It's the intention or inflection behind it that allows the listener to hear it. I say all of that to say this. The way in which you asked the question might have been the way your universe asked you to be able to say, I'm asking for a friend. But it was for you to go through a learning curve where you didn't know you were going through it, to learn that you have this amazing source of grace and mercy. Which is the challenge when we go to help somebody, that we realize, holy crap, this wasn't for them. This was all for me. Which is how I wake up every morning with these calls saying, I'm going to show up. And what's going to happen there will be for me. I have to sit quietly to wait for the lesson for me to show up every day. I have to sit and listen for the downloads that come to me that allow me to get sharper for me, to become better for you. Because if I was the same person who was on this call when you got on this call, when you were ready to receive and I didn't grow, if none of us grow in our life, people grow past us. So how do we always stay there as a resource? How are we always there capable of being a source of value to those around us? The challenge is, on this call, we're all growing every single day. So it requires me, in order for me to continue to, quote, lead, to be head misfit, other than a title, is that I have to be sharpening and growing and learning every day and becoming aware every day and giving up every day. Because if I was the same person who you got on this call with, you wouldn't be on this call now if I was the same. Some people are choosing to be the same. That's why they're not on this call. Their growth in just a 1 hour a day looking into the mirror was way too much for them, and they choose not to be on the call. It's okay. It's okay. We get calls. Here's the funny thing, Rhonda, this just downloaded to me. This call is so powerful. We have friends asking for friends so that we can all get better.
But that's freaking amazing. That's awesome. Like, that is God going, I'll give you every resource, even the resources that won't show up or that you don't know or that you'll never hear. I'll give them to you to help you, because that's how much I want you to prosper. And that's how much I want you to have in this life. That's pretty freaking amazing.
It's amazing. God's pretty good. Does that help, Brittany? I mean, so that helps with your friend. You're going to send her the link. That's it. But what's circling in your soul right now?
That I have always extended grace and mercy.
There you go.
Yeah. It's already been within me. Maybe I allowed other people, because sometimes it was maybe so brash. I allowed other people to call it something else.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, when you're in the ER and they're ripping off clothes and they're cracking ribs and they're doing this stuff to save a life, it ain't gentle.
Exactly.
It ain't gentle at all in the emergency room. We're not going to get some of us aren't going to get a splinter out of our hand. I know that ain't me. We're going to get we need to go get some real shaking up done. We do need to get out of our effing way. And we do need to awaken. And here's the thing, we get to with every breath. When we can sit in a moment, and say, this has never happened in the history of the universe, from the creation of time, 16 billion years. This moment has never happened. This moment has never happened. This moment has never happened. What are we doing with it? It's a $1 million, $1 billion, billion hearts of love, 10 billion followers. It's everything that has ever been possible is happening right now.
Hey, Sean.
Yes, go ahead.
So, Brittany, I want to tell you, when a strong personality like yours, first of all, that's a God-given strength, God-given boldness, God-given courage. When it is redeemed and given back, and you step in it the way he's designed you to step into it, it is so amazing and overwhelming to others, because now, and this is me pointing the finger at myself, now the woman that lives in a world full of stupid people now can transfer that strength and that grace and into mercy. And the amount of intensity I've had towards using frustration to just say, forget people, I just can't handle them. They're stupid. Now that courage and that strength has been redeemed, I have that much intensity into my passion to love and to help. And I can love and help people in a way that most can't, because of the strength and the boldness that I do have. And that's exactly where you are. And as that develops, write down how that feels to you and what that looks like, because it'll be interesting to see. You'll still walk in the strength, and you'll still walk in the certainty, and you'll still walk in boldness, but your character change will be totally different. And you'll finally be comfortable in the right pair of shoes, instead of comfortable being bold and strong, but feel like you're not in the right shoes. And the words that will come out of your mouth that are bold and strong will begin to lift people up and strengthen people. And you won't see them as frustrating as you have before. And that will be a beautiful thing, because it is hard it's hard to be bold and strong when fully redeemed, because when you are, it's bold and strong with grace and mercy. And grace and mercy is not giving people what they deserve, but showing them pity and loving them anyway and helping them anyway. And that, sister, is amazing. And that is what you will have the strength to do and not be affected by their outcome. So for what that's worth for you, I love you.
I love you too. I love you also, Sean. Thank you so much.
Love you. Thank you. And again, so you got to use all of your talents this morning. Strength in sharing a message, strength in raising your hand. I know when we're around friends and family, it doesn't seem like a lot to raise our hand, but just raising your hand to ask this question was a sign of your strength. To hear the story, and now I don't think we're going to have to convince you of using your strength to not teach her, right? Because she doesn't see you as the teacher yet. Otherwise, she'd have been listening to you a long time ago. Right? So having that strength to not say, "Oh my gosh, I got the answer," but you now get to use your salesman's hat and saying, "Listen, we spent 30 minutes on your question this morning. Oh my gosh, what amazing answers! I'm curious to see if you're ever going to listen to it."
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Tessa has her hand raised. Good morning, Tessa. And
Good morning, guys.
good morning.
Actually, a complete accident because I'm chasing children around. But
Okay.
I'm just gonna talk anyway. So I'm so upset that I've missed like the past few days because I'm deathly sick. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. And I've been running around like crazy. But no, what I wanted to say, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Is that's actually really, I'm really glad that I got on here because I've been kind of dealing with the same thing with a friend of mine. And I've been trying to figure out how to help her because I'm just one of those people. When I love someone, I want to just help them and make them better all the time. And so that just helped me knowing that like she's really got to help herself and I can't help her because it's been a little straining for like the past few weeks from being sick and then trying to help her. I just feel like my energy is like, oh, so I was completely exhausted today, but I got on here because I'm like, I need to see everybody. Maybe everyone, I can get my energy back and feel better. So thank you very much to both, all of you.
Tessa, thank you. Tess, thanks for showing up. And everybody send some love energetically to Tess. Drop it in the chat so her visual component can see it. Just drop her some hearts and send her some love and healthiness and all of that good stuff.
Thank you so much, guys.
Appreciate you. I'm curious when I started this conversation, when Brittany asked the question, I don't know if she can chat. Monique, you went, "Ow," or I think that's what it was, or "Oh, we," or something. I'm just curious what caused that expression of loudness.
Are you talking to me?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm talking to
Yeah.
you. Talking to me?
Well, it's you know what? It's because you said when Brittany finished talking, you said something like, "I wonder why she came to you and asked you," and then you and Rhonda kind of both dived into it. So I was just like, oh, because I was just thinking the same thing, you know, like what does this moment say about you more than what it says about her? So I was clicking with you guys on that one.
Cool. Okay. But I heard it before you started typing it. And so I just wanted to make sure, because again, we need your power in the world. We need your guidance and wisdom and lessons. So thank you.
And also really quick, I was resonating with it because of what I had experienced the week prior with my friend.
Yes.
I was like the same thing. Like, what is this moment teaching me about me? Not necessarily her, even though I was experiencing it with her, it was for me. So I totally, yeah, it was an aha moment right then and there.
Cool. Awesome. And so think of it this way, folks. Again, my desire behind these calls is to help you in your business, and our business is building people. But isn't what we just experienced in the last 35 minutes, isn't this exactly the more I let it resonate in my cranium, isn't this exactly a prospecting presentation? We know the answer. We get involved with a company, a business model, a compensation plan, a company, a product, a team, and we see the answer. And we have people all the time complain about life in all 6 areas: their body, their mind, their family, their finances, their society, and spirituality, in all of those areas. And we have the answer. We know we can take them to the answer, and we want to put our arm around them and say, come with us. And the challenge is, and what, again, downloading to me right now, Brittany used the proverbial 3-way, didn't she? She brought the question to a source, to a resource, got some answers for it that helped her, just like every event. The only reason you go to an event is to sign yourself back up. The only reason you attend a call is to sign yourself back up. Even if you have guests there, it's to sign yourself back up. The most important person to get signed back up, to get signed up, is you every time you engage with your opportunity. So Brittany is now using the proverbial 3-way. Listen, I don't know the answer. I don't know about that. But I can go someplace where I can ask it. You want to come with me? No, I don't get up till 2. Okay, I'll go ask the question. This is just like us all going to an event. We all go to an event and there's people who can't go because of time or money or this or that or the other thing. And they go, when you come back, bring me all the answers. And you say, I will. I will. The challenge is to get them excited again about hearing the answers. Every day, all of us every day want the answer. We want the secret weapon. We want the silver bullet. We want the thing that'll change our life dramatically. Both the answer and the question are already inside us. Yeah, getting people to listen. So how many of us have ever had the authority with an audience to say, you're going to listen to me? Usually it's parents, brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters, right? It's usually somewhere of close connection where we feel we have the authority to inject a solution. Yet in the volunteer world called friendship, friends are still volunteer, ride or die, they're still volunteers. To get them to want to hear the answer. Isn't that the challenge? Because the answer's always been there, but to get them to want to hear the answer is our level of salesmanship. The reason we go, why would you ever click on a link? Why would you ever click on a link, be it a song, a movie, a spiritual leader, be it somebody who fires you up, lights that fire inside of you, or challenges you, right? Political debates or whatever it is. Why would you ever click on the link with an unknown? You really don't know what they're going to do. All you have is your memory of what they've done in the past, and they should do that again. They're probably going to do that again. The challenge is we're not exposing ourselves to enough variety to really have the ability to choose what we want. How many of you have in the last 6 months, how many of you have found something new that you're really excited that you found out about in the last 6 months? Could be the last 6 days, whether it be a food or a person in your life, right? A spiritual leader, a song. You'll follow me on this? If you've learned about something new that's really got you excited in the last 6 months, how many more things are out there like that we're choosing not to expand our capacity, our capability, because we're too tied up to hold on to the old. We're too close to the familiar. Listen, I'm 6 months ago standing on stage at the A&MP. This young, sexy looking little handsome dude of a fella comes up to say thank you to me after the event. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Comes up and with his New York accent and his demeanor and his sophistication, right? He shows up and all he says is thank you. And this morning, I get to fall more in love with Brittany because we see instantly her showing grace and mercy. How could you not fall more in love with this soul? We get to hear Ralph every morning say, I love you, Misfits. I love my Misfit family. How could you not fall in love with that? Because this young man stopped on his way to the pool 8 months ago now. I get to have this conversation this morning. I get to expand. I am constantly on the lookout for the different, for the unique, for the things that go, this should not be happening right now. There's no way I would ever think about it. In a million moons, a million full moons, do you think Brittany and I would ever be able to have a conversation like we did this morning? In a million full moons? Probably not. Now, both of us are getting better every day. Both of us are sharpening each other's saw. But there would have been 17 cuts on me before I ever got close enough to ask Brittany for a cup of coffee. What's this fool doing? Right? Until we got past all of that. So here's the question. Can you be strong enough to stand in the fray, to stand in the battle, to see that the person we're about to battle against is probably hurting more than we are? So I'm in awe every morning that I show up here, every morning that I get to. This is what we get to do. This is the daily awakening, this moment. Y'all, RBP wouldn't have said a mouthful if she had it on these calls a year ago, just a year ago. 1 year ago, I don't qualify. I'm not smart enough. I got nothing to do. There's no way. Are you kidding me? There's just people on here all the time. There's no way I could ever speak up. I've got so much to learn. You do. Every one of us has so much to learn. And you know what we have to learn is that we have so much to give. Every one of us needs to learn that. We have so much to give in every moment. It's when we move from our head into our heart and we allow grace and mercy to be extended to us. What an interesting morning. What an interesting morning. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for just, because, you know, I got my book right here. I had questions we were going to read. But it's not always about the presentation. It's about the conversation. So very cool. I love that. And again, welcome everybody. Great to have you all here. If you do have a question or comment, raise your hand and I'll do my best to keep an eye on it and we'll go from there.
I don't have a way of raising my hand other than jumping in, but I want to reinforce what I said before, because you just gave the perfect example of it. Rhonda engaged this group as a worthy adversary to learn what? Probably how to speak up. It's probably, I'm guessing, that speaking up and being heard was probably an issue when she was younger. She can confirm that or not. Maybe I'm crazy, but.
Oh, well, we know you're crazy, but in a good way, a misfit way.
The point is, again, how many of us are going into a prospecting conversation when really in the background, what we're really trying to do is figure out how can we get people to hear us? And that's an old wound, an old issue that we've been living with for most of our life. That's the Wellwood model. We're engaging a worthy adversary in some form or another. A person, a set of people, a situation where we get to learn, we get to struggle with. And if only we're smart enough to recognize it's a worthy struggle. The battles between ourselves and our spouse are worthy struggle to learn something. And we probably pick that person for exactly that purpose. We might not have been aware of it, but anyway, I've yet to see that relation, that kind of a model for relating between people fail in many years of working with people.
No, it's always that way, that we get stronger when we're challenged. Most people don't want to stand in the face of the challenge or look for it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's worthwhile noting that where we're a little uncomfortable engaging with somebody or some people, maybe that's exactly the situation we need to sharpen the saw, to learn something new, to overcome an old wound that has been there for a long time. That's all.
I love it, love it, love it. Yay. So it's funny how I've just flipped to one of my note pages. And if we think of Brittany's friend, what sustains us? What keeps us? What sustains us? And the only answer to that is habit. Habits are what sustain us. If we choose to thrive, we choose to do something different, we have to break out of our habits. This could be, again, all areas of your life. What sustains your current finances? What sustains your current relationships with your family? What sustains your current relationship with society? What sustains your current relationship with you sharpening your own saw? Your own health, your own faith, habits. So be aware of your habits. Here's a question. What do you believe you're a container for? What do you believe you're here to hold on to be filled up with? Is it misery and doubt and frustration? Is it joy and happiness? What are you currently a container for? And then go back to, if you did in meditation, one of the things you might do, what is your mind a container for? What is your body a container for? At one point, for Monique, it was a container for 300 plus pounds. And then she decided that container isn't going to hold that anymore. What are your lungs a container for? What are your ears a container for? Your eyes, your liver, your kneecaps, whatever it is that's hurting you, find out what it's a container for. Right? When they talk about dis-ease, Bob Proctor says dis-ease, a body not at ease. Wherever the dis-ease is it's a container for that confusion, frustration. It's the body not at ease. They come up with all of these different names for dis-ease so that it's easier for us to compartmentalize them and identify them and come up with a prescription to not cure it, to treat it. How many of us are treating the dis-ease in our own mind, in our own body, in our own source, as opposed to finding the cure? Right? If we found the cure for a couple of big named dis-eases out there, there'd be industries that would collapse. So what do you think the chances are, possibly, maybe, that, oh, wow, the download I just had. What do you think the chances are that sometimes we get treatment because if we got it cured, we no longer have a reason? It wouldn't
called billable hours.
Yep. So what if, I know I'm going to get letters on this one. What if a lot of the training that's out there is a treatment? Ooh. It's not giving you the cure. What if a lot of conversations that uplines have with you, that the people who receive a check off of you, are based upon you being part of the treatment? It's when we make the decision, decide to cut off, that we find our own cure. Somewhere at some point, Monique had a trigger that happened. She had a fire that lit up, and it was the quote, the day she had enough. In this moment is the day you've had enough. What you let this moment leave with, see, every moment is coming and every moment leaves. What you leave with is the building block for the next moment. If what's about to happen is a world of total possibility, absolutely unlimited possibility in this moment, what lets it leave with a finite experience? We have unlimited possibility coming to us, and it leaves with a finite expression. What would change if you had the courage to be a Monique, if you had the courage to be a Brittany, and to come on in her comical way? Oh, I could give a testimonial since I've been on these calls. Right? That was her way of easing into playing the supportive role. Isn't it amazing if we sit and listen to how the universe describes itself to us? See, some of us can hear one thing and some of us can hear something else. What if we sat and listened for the amazement and the wonderment of what really isn't the story, it's the source that created the story. It's how we got to, how is Brittany telling us a story about a friend, her showing mercy and grace to somebody else? Because we know the Paul Harvey rest of the story. This painting that got played out this morning, this script that got played out this morning, that was delivered to us by the universe, by the Holy Spirit, was not a normal script. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Everybody is stupid, thinks everybody is stupid person is going, I've got a friend who needs some help. And I said I would ask. Isn't that funny? How the painting this morning changed. It became a Rockwell painting, became a Hallmark card this morning. And here's the funny thing. It's the same paint that was used to paint the story yesterday. Maybe it was the subtleness with which it was put onto the canvas this morning. Maybe it was the gentleness with which the brush strokes were applied. Same paint, same word, same 26 letters in the alphabet. In this moment, you can choose joy or you can choose misery. In this moment, we got to hear what joy sounds like. We got to hear what misery sounds like. The question is which one of those are you going to jump into? Which boat will you be in? Because from that boat is the only place you can save people, the only place you can ask people, give people a hand up, not a hand out. What do you believe you're a container for in this moment? What's in your container that needs to be turned back over to the universe? Some of you in your kind heart don't want to give it back to the universe. You don't want to hurt anybody else. Go sit on the earth and let it just be absorbed into it. Go grounding. We've heard that mentioned a few times. Ronda's talked about it. And it really happens. When I have a long day, if I have some long days tied together, I'll go find a place in the backyard if it's a comfortable day and just lay right down on the ground, just lay full out like a snow angel on the ground. And in 15 minutes, it's amazing what can happen. So there you go. I'm going to let you spend a couple of minutes just sitting in thought, sitting in awareness of what your body's a container for. What is your mind a container for? What is your heart a container for? What's being stored in there?
So Sean, I've got a thought running through my mind. You were talking about.
Are you tired? Because you must be tired because of how much you're running through my mind.
Stop it right now. Stop it right now. You cheese ball. Take me back to some grease ball days. Ugh. Have to go take a shower. So you were talking about some things, and here's some thoughts that came to my mind. I wrote down, where there is smoke, there's fire. Can you see the smoke in others and help feed the fire? when you sit across from somebody, can you see the smoke in them, that there's a fire starting? Can you sit long enough and open enough to where you can see there's a little bit of smoke, and instead of going, oh man, they got smoke coming out their ears, can you identify that as there's a little smoke here? That must mean they're ready to burn a little more, and in a good way, in a passionate way, in a strength, and in a let's get things done, I'm ready for change. Can you sit long enough to see the smoke in others and kind of help feed the fire? Or can you help create a spark that has the potential to smoke and catch fire? Or when you sit down and sit across from somebody, whether it's for your business or just a loved one or a new person, when you open your mouth, are you so void inside that you suck all the oxygen away from them and you take out any opportunity for them to ever catch fire? Or if there was a little bit of smoke, you inhale that and you keep them from ever getting the oxygen that they need to catch fire. So then that makes you think it's all inside of me as to how my day goes and the others around me feel. You either bring life and you can breathe into them and help their smoke kindle into a flame, or you can speak enough words to where it creates a spark and you can continue to breathe into them that will create some smoke, and eventually they'll catch fire, and you may not be the one to do all the processes. But I don't want to be me. I don't want to be the person that when I'm in front of somebody, I'm so void of anything, or I'm so needy of anything, that when I open my mouth, I suck the oxygen out of them and keep them from ever being able to get a spark and smoke.
So the visual that I got, Rhonda, as you were chatting was, can anybody see anything with a fire that's just smoking? Sometimes the fire has to get lit, because sometimes we run up with a bucket of water and go, oh, you have no idea what I just saved you from. Oh my gosh. Oh my, and you're like, you put out my damn fire. You son of a gun. You know how long I've been smoldering there? Or sometimes we're talking so fast and the solutions are coming out of our mouth. It doesn't even let the fire get started, right? But what the visual I had was us all standing around a fire that's smoking, and we're waiting on somebody to do something because we can't see a dang thing. And then how many times have we seen in cartoons, right? Wile E. Coyote, or I don't know, Sylvester or somebody, or Tom and Jerry, they finally light a candle, and all of a sudden they see all of the bats or whatever's in the room, and they turn it off, and then you see all the eyeballs light up. But sometimes we can't see the trouble till the fire's lit.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that analogy you shared. We're just fire starters.
But see, that's what's funny is we are fire starters. We can start fires maliciously, or we can start fires with the intent to set a heart on fire with passion for them to step into their calling for this life.
If this don't light your fire, you're using wet wood.
Yeah. So you've got my mind racing over here. I've got a Bible study that I teach in about about 2.5 hours. And y'all are giving me such good information to sit with. And it'll be good, but it's got my mind over here racing the way you've got my brain thinking.
That sets up the opportunity to decide whether you're going to be responsible to them or responsible for them also.
Yes.
Well, there you go, folks. Amazing morning. Thank you, Brittany, for kicking us off. Thank you. And Brittany, I need you to, I know we've said it, but thank you to Brittany's friend who races to the edge to give us all a feeling of anticipation and appreciation for our own edges. So that was awesome that she had the courage to show up in your world and to and you to offer that. So wow, another amazing morning. Seems like it's like we went halftime. We're only at halftime because we have gone an hour. But I'm going to let you to your morning. I appreciate y'all. Love you tons. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits, and I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all tell each other you love each other.
Bye, y'all. Love y'all. Have a
God
great
bless
day.
everyone. Have a wonderful, productive day.
Love you
Bye,
guys. Have a
y'all.
great day.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
Goodbye. Have a blessed, lovely day. Positivity all day. Love you, my Misfit family.
Love y'all. Have a great day.
MVP Rockstar.